What is going on, beautiful people? I am so excited today. Obscurus Tourist here, and this sign right over my shoulder is telling me that we are getting close. We are getting close to one of my favorite places in America, Oatman, Arizona. Are you ready? I certainly am. Let's go. We're on a giant brontosaurus. There's a brontosaurus head, and we're going down this slide. Here we go. So I wanted to give you some perspective of this leg of the drive on the old Oatman Highway, otherwise known as, you guessed it, Route 66, especially as you head west into Oatman from Kingman, Arizona. Although it's very beautiful, you gotta be very, very careful and fully aware of your surroundings. These S-curves are quite pronounced, and as you can see, there's no safety barrier protecting your car from going over the edge. The speed limit on this road is just a measly 15 miles per hour, so a 20-minute or so drive from Kingman actually turns into more like an hour or even more. And burro, yes, burro, wild donkeys. So you should be on full alert when driving this stretch of the road and follow the speed limit. And I just wanted to show you how precarious this driving can be if you're not careful. So we're gonna walk down to an old wreck that crashed in the 1950s, an old Plymouth. Did you know that Route 66 used to be called Bloody 66? Pretty dark nickname. A combination of the highway's narrow and busy roads resulted in numerous car crashes over the decades and helped cement that bloody reputation. You can see the wreck off in the distance there, about halfway down the mountainside. This car's been sitting here for some 60 plus years, and the fact that it's still sitting here says a lot about how difficult it's proven to recover. I've tried to find some information about this particular wreck over the years, but to this point I haven't been able to find anything. Looks like this car has been used as a bit of target practice over the years. A lot of bullet holes pockmarking the exterior. And as you can see, the car has been completely stripped. The seats are gone. Even the engine block, somehow, someone has found a way to remove it and bring it down the remainder of the mountainside. Such a beautiful car that has become nothing more than a parts car and a reminder of its tragic demise. Here's a look at the S-curve above and the exact point at which the car ran off the highway. Like I said, it's very, very important to follow posted speed limits on this stretch of Route 66. It's a daunting drive during the day, so one can only imagine what this drive is like at night. You don't want to become the people who drove that car. We finally arrived in Oatman, and what a reception. Is it even possible to have a better reception than some super friendly wild burro coming to say hello? I don't think so. Look at how adorable these little guys are. And if I'm totally honest with you, I once actually spent an entire day walking around this town, petting these guys. Best day of my life. So we are, oh wait, there's a few more burro coming to welcome me. Hey guys. Anyway, Oatman sits at an elevation of 2,700 feet, deep in the Black Mountains of Mojave County, in between Kingman, Arizona, and Needles, California. Oatman's wild burros, or donkeys, are actually the descendants of domesticated burros brought here by miners in the late 1800s, and when they no longer needed them, they simply let the burro go. And now, each morning, they wander into town looking for food. There's a lot going on in this town on a Saturday. Just look at that hot pink trike. Oh, and here's the star of the show himself. This is little Walter the baby. Isn't he just the cutest? I have no idea what this guy's doing. Part of the show, or just a guy practicing his whip skills? Did you know the name Oatman was named in honor of a young Illinois girl named Olive Oatman? She was actually kidnapped by Indians during her pioneer family's journey westward in 1851 and forced into slavery. She was later traded to the Mojave Indians, who adopted her as a daughter and even tattooed her face in the custom of the tribe. Eventually, she was released in 1856 at Fort Yuma, Arizona. Pretty interesting story, and so Oatman is here in memory of her.
Well, howdy, folks. Welcome to Oatman, Arizona. Here in a few minutes, we're going to be doing a gunfight right out here in the middle of the street, just because we can. And we're going to be firing off a shot first to let everybody down know we're getting ready to do something. So if you got sensitive ears, you might want to cover them, because sometimes it's louder than we think it's going to be. But you just never really know. And here we go!
I gotta say, I'm truly impressed with how much folks in the desert get excited about Christmas and how much they really embrace the holiday. And I'm sure it's a little bit naive of me because, oh my, I guess that little burro is also embracing the season of giving. And there's been a lot of buzz going around Oatman today. A lot of talk about the big man himself paying a visit. And there he is right now, riding a white fire truck. And it looks like he's brought a special guest of his own, Mrs. Claus. How awesome is that? Believe it or not, but in 1921, a fire ravaged Oatman and burnt down many of its smaller buildings. Oh, hey, buddy. But that building right over there, the Oatman Hotel, was spared. The hotel is especially famous because it was the honeymoon stop of Clark Gable and Carole Lombard after their wedding in Kingman on March 18th, 1939. The other notable thing about the Oatman Hotel is that its most famous resident is Odie, the ghost. Yes, you heard me. The hotel is said to be haunted, and this friendly poltergeist is actively promoted by the hotel's current owners. It's said that Odie is actually William Ray Flower, an Irish miner who died behind the hotel, presumably from excessive alcohol consumption. Flower's body wasn't discovered until 2 days after his death, and he was hastily buried in a shallow grave near where he died. As you can see, lots of little shops to buy some wares from the local townsfolk, and you might recognize that formation up there in the hills from a film called How the West Was Won, starring none other than John Wayne. Up on the hill there, by that little A-frame house, is where the original gallows stood, where men who were sentenced to death were actually hung. Oatman was actually fortunate enough in that it was located on busy Route 66, catering to travelers driving between Kingman and Needles. But the town was completely bypassed in 1953 when Interstate 40 was built. By the 1960s, Oatman was all but abandoned. If rocks and minerals are your thing, Oatman is for you. You can buy lots of rocks mined out of these very hills, including geodes, wolfenite, jaspers, quartz crystals, and much, much more. It is a geologist's paradise. There's just something about Christmas in the desert that warms my heart and makes me so happy. Look at these two. It looks like somebody got caught with his pants down in the outhouse. You okay in there, buddy? Can I help? Talk about a stinky situation. Hope he sorts himself out. Forget about Vegas. Oatman is the place for shotgun weddings with actual shotguns. And look who it is. Oh my God, he looked at me. This is just one of the many places you can find pellets to feed the burro wandering around town, and it's the only thing townsfolk recommend you feeding them. You'll notice a lot of these burro have these little signs on their foreheads telling you not to feed them. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that practice, but I understand the message. I love the authentic inauthenticity of this little town. What can I say? I'm a sucker for this stuff. And this guy looks like the strong, silent type, just sitting there, guarding one of the old jail cells of Oatman. Let's go check out the Mine Museum for the grand total of just $0. You can step back in time into a miner's shoes and see what they saw way back in the day. Not a whole lot to see here, though, as it leads straight into a good old-fashioned dead end. I guess that makes this tour worth the price of admission. It's free, by the way. Get it? And who's this guy? Looks like he's caught between a rock and a good old hard place. Pull yourself out of this rut, buddy. Things will get better. I promise. Here's a little plaque giving you some of the history of Oatman, the ghost town that refuses to die. It also gives you some background on the history of mining in this town and how it was actually done. And it also gives you a little information about the burro wandering around town. And what do we have over here? Looks to be a little storage shed to give us a glimpse into the past. Or is it a bedroom? I'm not really sure. Maybe it served some sort of dual purpose back in the day. Pretty strange. And over here we have the heart and soul of any good gold rush town back in the day, the saloon. And oh, what a handful this lady must have been for all the rowdy miners on a nightly basis. You've got your entertainment with the piano over there in the corner and a poker table to satiate the bored and help pass the time. And of course, the most important person in any Wild West town, the barman. And who do we got over here? It looks like this guy's been waiting around for a while. I guess he's been waiting for his wife to finish shopping. Poor guy, just wants to go home and watch the game. I feel ya. Over there in that back lot are the original gallows. As I mentioned before, those were up on the hill near that A-framed house that I pointed out earlier. Oh, there's another one. This guy's looking a bit lonely standing by himself, just minding his own business. Hey, buddy. Look at this guy. He's the cutest. I really hope you enjoyed my visit to Oatman, Arizona today. And how special was it that Santa actually made an appearance? Who knew that Santa even visited the desert? Well, guess what? He proved to you that he does. So from Oatman, Arizona, obscurest tourist, signing off, and until the next adventure, see you later. Gotta admit, it's gonna be a little bit tougher getting out of here than I thought. This guy, it seems he just doesn't want to see me go just yet. And just when I think I've seen the last of them, they are still popping up. I'm about a 10-minute drive outside of Oatman, and you can see just how far these burro wander off. See you later. I'll be back.